If it bites wrong, it can lose its face. If it holds 1 second too long, it can get bitten back. If the angle shifts underwater, the river can close over its head. And it still goes for the skull. That is not bravery. It is control over time. Because in this forest, time is the real predator. The longer a fight lasts, the more the jungle turns against you. The rainforest is not an arena. It is friction. Heat drains muscle faster than you expect. Humidity slows recovery before you notice fatigue. Mud slides under weight. Roots twist ankles. Water hides rotation until torque detonates without warning. Nothing here favors prolonged conflict. Every extra second inside a struggle multiplies variables. More movement, more reactions, more angles, more friction, more chances for something to go wrong. Predators don't lose because they are weak. They lose because the situation grows beyond control. So the jaguar refuses growth. It compresses. Shorten distance. Shorten exposure. Shorten uncertainty. Shorten the window where chaos can expand. If danger must happen, make it brief enough that it cannot evolve. A caiman drifts near the bank. Its back looks armored because it is. Its skull is thick. Its jaws are built to clamp and not release. It does not need speed, it needs torque. And torque becomes more dangerous the longer the exchange continues. On land, it snaps sideways with brutal leverage. In water, it rolls. And when it rolls, the world inverts. Water becomes weight. Momentum becomes trap. If the jaguar is caught inside that rotation, bone meets bone the wrong way. That is the real risk, not teeth, duration. Before it moves, the jaguar studies. Distance first. Too far and momentum becomes unstable. Too close and reaction time disappears. Then elevation. The skull must rise just enough. Then tilt. Too steep and teeth glance off density. Too shallow and pressure spreads without entry. The jaguar does not rush bad geometry. Because once muscle contracts, physics takes ownership. There is no correction mid-strike. No reconsideration after commitment. The lunge is short, controlled. Front claws anchor into soil before the jaws close. The ground becomes part of the strike. Without anchoring, force disperses sideways. With anchoring, force channels forward. Power without structure leaks. Structure without power stalls. The jaguar waits until both align. Then it closes. Cut to CGI. A precise skull cross-section, layered cortical bone, inner lattice, subtle seams where plates meet. The canine is conical, narrow, designed to concentrate pressure. Same muscle, smaller contact point, higher stress. Stress mapping glows at the point of impact. Microfractures branch along structural lines. Bone flexes, then yields just enough to allow entry. No explosion, no spectacle, just breach. That is enough. Under that bone lies coordination, motor sequencing, signal timing, balance. Interrupt that network and the body fragments into noise. Strength without command becomes random motion. A powerful tail without timing thrashes uselessly. Strong jaws without sequence close too late. Power still exists, but it loses direction. Direction decides outcomes. Most big cats suffocate prey. They clamp throats. They wait. Oxygen fades. Resistance weakens. Waiting in water is dangerous. Waiting invites thrashing. Waiting invites torque. Waiting invites injury. The jaguar removes waiting. It removes command. Command gone. Resistance collapses before it escalates. Compression beats endurance. There is always a spike, a moment where the equation can flip. The bite lands, and the caiman reacts instantly. Water erupts. The roll begins. The jaguar's body twists sideways. For a fraction of a second, anchoring slips. The river pulls downward. Teeth scrape instead of wedge. The skull angle shifts dangerously. One more degree of rotation, and the jaw meets fur instead of bone. One more second, and the river owns the outcome. This is the edge. If grip fails here, the predator is dragged into rotational force. If torque completes, jaws swing back. If alignment breaks, the hunter becomes exposed. This is where predators vanish, not from weakness, from duration expanding faster than control. And then, for a fraction of a second, nothing. water suspended mid-splash, muscle locked. Either the anchor holds or the geometry collapses. There is no third option. This is the real fight. Not between predator and prey, but between control and time. If alignment slips, the jaguar releases instantly. It does not cling blindly. It does not gamble mid-roll. It resets, because survival is not finishing every attempt. It is surviving the failed ones. Predators that live long are selective. They commit only when probability compresses toward certainty. Force travels both ways. When bone yields, recoil travels back into the predator's jaw, into enamel, into hinge, into skull. Without reinforcement, that shock fractures the hunter. The jaguar's skull is thick along impact lines. Zygomatic arches flare outward, jaw hinge dense, muscle anchored tightly along the sagittal crest. It is built to survive its own force. Evolution filtered out the versions that broke themselves. What remains is calibrated. Enough to breach, not enough to self-destruct. Why don't other big cats do this? Because this method demands proximity. It demands stable footing. It demands specific geometry. On open plains, prey runs. Distance expands, angles dissolve, leverage disappears. Suffocation works better there. The skull strike belongs to dense terrain, short range, limited escape vectors. The rainforest shaped the method. The method would fail in the savanna. Strategy is environment specific. That is why it remained rare. Long fights drain more than muscle. They drain probability. Each additional second increases statistical risk, more reactions, more randomness, more opportunity for injury. In rainforest, injury compounds fast. Humidity rots wounds. Infection spreads quickly. Energy drains rapidly. A cracked canine ends skull, targeting tomorrow. A torn forelimb ruins anchoring next week. Without anchoring, teeth slide. Sliding teeth invite chaos. Chaos ends hunters. So chaos must be prevented at the source. After shutdown, it releases quickly. No shaking, no prolonged hold. Drag to shore, away from rolling mechanics, away from unpredictable depth. Finish in controlled terrain. Control after the strike matters as much as control during it, because competition waits. Scavengers listen. Long struggles attract attention. Short interruptions disappear. Silence becomes camouflage. Efficiency becomes invisibility. Invisibility extends survival. The jaguar is compact. Short limbs, dense torso, low center of gravity. Not optimized for distance, optimized for leverage. Close range reduces variables. Reduced variables reduce surprise. Reduced surprise reduces injury. Every trait converges on one principle. End the dangerous part before it grows. The rainforest resets quickly. Water smooths. Birds return. Insects resume. Nothing dramatic lingers. Because the jaguar compresses danger. It does not stretch it. Compression limits exposure. Exposure limits damage. Damage limits future hunts. Future hunts determine survival. It does not chase. It does not roar. It does not gamble on stamina. It waits for structure to align. It commits once. It interrupts command. And when geometry locks into place, the skull becomes a switch. Signals go silent. The river stills. The forest continues. The predator walks away intact. It does not overpower the jungle. It does not dominate it. It simply refuses to let a fight last long enough to become dangerous. In a place where time kills hunters, it makes danger too small to survive. That is why it goes for the skull.